Right. When you're going to wake up, when you're going to pull your head out of your opinionated, retarded backside and pay attention to what's really going on. Yeah, I know, it's Sky News, right? Probably take what Peter Cridland says with a grain of salt. But you can most definitely Bookies should be running the odds on this. Me versus Sky News.
Government tries to buy back the port of Darwin.
Ah!
Let's go now, though.
What have I been telling you about the port of Darwin? China makes clear it will retaliate if Australia tries to buy back the port of Darwin. It's in a territory, not a state of the nation. It's not a state of Australia. Same as Canberra is not a state of Australia. It's a territory owned by somebody else. China makes clear it will retaliate if Australia tries to buy back the port of Darwin. Best thing we can do is get on side with China. Fuck this government off out of it. We've got no hope. We have got no hope. It's so far above our weight. We can't punch above that. We can't punch up to that weight. Not even America can. Get real. The quiet achiever. That's China. China bought the quiet achiever. BHP. They own it.
Issue out of Beijing, China's ambassador to Australia has made clear that China will retaliate if the government tries to buy back the port of Darwin, which is currently on a 99-year lease to China's Landbridge Group.
Well, aware of the position of the Australian government. They want to take it back, so-called, back to Australia's hands. The Chinese company is just simply operating on a lease basis. And starting from last year, Darwin Port has stopped losing money and started to make money. Suddenly, we're hearing that the government of Australia want to take it back. So I really question the ethic value.
Joining me now to discuss this, retired brigadier, former Army Director.
Before we get on with this, before we let that go on, the best thing we can do, the best thing we could have ever done, we should never have let Pine Gap into this country. What do you think China was doing with their 3 ships circumnavigating their country a little while ago? What do you think that was all about? Geo-mapping the ocean floor, the ocean bed, for submarine activity. So they can hide submarines. You better believe there's already submarines down there. You had better believe it. China, they're so stoic, they're so quiet, they don't need to beat their chest. They don't telecast their chess moves. Not like United States, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and rah, rah, look at us, shock and awe, woo, are you scared, China? No, not particularly, they're not at all. Otherwise they wouldn't have made this threat. And it's not even a threat, it's a promise, believe me. They own it. They paid for it. This is what I've been telling you. China is not going to back down. They are not going to invade Australia, but you better believe that they will protect their investments and assets. We're a bit late to that party. Right. No one's paying attention. You're not paying attention, people.
General Ian Langford. Ian, thank you for your time. We're really seeing the rhetoric escalate here about the port, but we'll get to Taiwan, but about Taiwan as well in a moment. There's a menace there that we're seeing from the ambassador very early in this year. How do you read this?
Thanks, Peter, and good evening to you viewers. I think wolf warrior diplomacy is back. I mean, we all understand from 2020 and the attempts by the PRC then to intimidate Australia through tariffs and threats around our public discourse regarding Taiwan and China's role in the world, and sort of what that meant in terms of us being persecuted internationally. That kind of went away when it was proven not to be effective, but I think with increased confidence that China now has in a changing world order, it now feels confident enough to reassert its interests plainly in public by making clear its displeasure around Australia's intent to follow through on the PM's election promise to reacquire the Port of Darwin. I mean, there is a fair lot of discourse around the commercial sensitivities, and as the Chinese...
Right. Stop that. Now, let's think about this. Who's in power at the moment? Let's do away with... Not Anthony Albanese, right? The United States of Israel, most definitely. This is an Israeli thing. Not in Australia's best interests. In Israel's best, the United States of Israel. This is in their best interest. They wish. Because they're going to get a rude fucking awakening. Who sold the Port of Darwin in the first place? Paul Keating. Labor. Who's in power at the moment? Labor. But this isn't a Labor Liberal thing. This is a United States of Israel thing. Who's about to come into power? Labor is purposely throwing themselves under the bus. The Liberal coalition is purposely opening up the fucking floodgates for Pauline Hanson, using the Liberal Democrats. Can you not see the coup d'etat now of a foreign nation taking over Australia? At least China paid for it. I hate it when Paul Keating's right, because I hate that bastard.
The ambassador supposedly outlined the profit-making business that he's worried about is being sold off for other reasons. But ultimately, from an Australian interest perspective, this is about security. It's about locking up a key part of critical infrastructure in Northern Australia as it relates to military power projection and essential trade routes. So when I hear this discussion around the Port of Darwin, I think it's important in Australia's interests that we articulate its significance as a military and as an intelligence target, and we need to protect that, and that really is fundamentally the reasons for the PM again making that election commitment to reacquire, noting of course that the
Proxy war, anybody? Ukraine 2.0, anybody? Come on. The best thing we can do is form a syndicate. We can, a full on, we just need to go pirate governance. Not government, governance. And get on board with the BRICS nations so that we can save our own souls. This is SOOS, save our own souls. There's nobody else who's coming to save us. You want to keep your sovereignty? Isn't it a funny thing? If we want to keep our sovereignty, we're going to have to jump ship. We're going to have to jump citizenship. You're starting to see the rhetoric in the words now, how it actually does mean that we're under maritime law. Stop fucking around with these stupid little arguments that mean nothing. Start creating something instead of trying to tear everything down. I mean that. Stop trying to tear everything down. That's the plan. To tear ourselves to pieces. Completely fragmented. No means of us organising. No means of us actually unionising. Assembling. The right to assemble is not about protest. The right to assemble is about creating our own governance. The People's Union. I'm going to end up in jail.
Chinese will be upset by that, but this is what statecraft looks like in 2025,
I
and
dare
we
you.
must follow through in that order.
Just so everyone knows, I've got everything to live for. Right? I've got everything to live for. I'm not here to die for my country. Anyone that wants to die for their country doesn't think much of it, because what good are you to your country dead? Isn't that a ridiculous fucking statement? Look at me. I'm doing the housework like a bitch. I'm doing the bitching. No, my bitching's clean. Am I worried? No, not at all. That's what I'm saying. I've got everything to live for. Everything to live for. I'm not scared of dying. We all die. Everybody dies. When you leave off that in the end bit, it sort of sounds a bit more sudden, doesn't it? Everybody dies. At some point. But you've got everything to live for. The children, the next generations. Your own old age retirement. Who the hell's going to look after you if you don't work out a way to look after yourself? To look after yourself means you're going to have to look after the next generation. Because why would they want to look after a generation that sold them out? I wouldn't. Which is what's happened. It's up to us to pick up the pieces. It's up to us. It's up to us X's to come out of retirement and start throwing down again. Throwing down, we're the last of the actual educated people. Us X's, we're the last. We're the last of the educated. After us, there's nothing but indoctrinated. They don't know any better. Those above us, the boomers and beyond, they knew better and did it anyway. They've sold us out, it's up to us to get it back, and the only way we're going to get it back is by being on the right side of history. Choose wisely.
And just quickly, for commercial reasons, the PM's not going to necessarily telegraph
You're looking at these
where they're up
ladies here.
to, but are you getting a sense that it's actually happening?
She even looks like it, Ray.
I think it has to. I mean, the PM's got a choice. He can either upset the PRC or he can not deliver on an election promise. So in terms of public trust and national interest, there's that dimension to it. And at the end of the day, this will cost us to remediate the errors of leasing it to that company in the first instance. So the choice, I believe, is not how much and why. I think it's essential that we get on with that and secure our interests going forward.
We're going to war, people.
Right. What do you make, not just...
It's coming to our shore.
His comments, the ambassador's comments in relation to Taiwan, basically saying there'll be punishment or retribution for Australia. We need to remember what side of the argument we should be on at the start of the year. But there was also that speech from President Xi, very, very stern in relation to Taiwan. And of course, we've seen coming out over the last week talk of a military realignment, the removal of generals, a whole lot of sort of backroom gossip as to the reasons why, talk of leaking of secrets on nuclear to the United States.
Under investigation, expelled, under investigation, expelled. Do you know why? Do you know why? What happened in Venezuela? I think the Silva made it out of Venezuela, but I don't think they did. Are they the delegates that was in Venezuela? Do you reckon they're in America? Do you reckon they're at Guantanamo Bay? They're the Chinese delegates. Zhang Yuzha, He Wei Dong, how much did it weigh? Li Shangfu, Liu Jinli, and Miao Hua. Or do you think maybe it all made it out? There's another theory. Like I say, I don't know it all, but I know what's coming, and it ain't good. Do you think maybe they made it out? But the Chinese Communist Party want to know who tipped America off? What promises were made to them? This is espionage. This is spy versus spy shit. This is where I come into my element. This is human intelligence. I will have the answer within a week. Put yourself like a fly on the wall in the room with I reckon it would have been G. I'm going to double check on that. Why? Because I like to be right. I like to be correct. I don't like to be wrong, but I'm happy to correct myself. Being incorrect is a good thing. Gulf Whitlam was in China in 1971. He was Labor. Right. Jiang Zemin. Right. Top leader of China was Jiang Zemin. Imagine just put yourself in the room like a fly on the wall, listening to a conversation between Jiang Zemin and Paul Keating during the mid-90s. Paul Keating was a very different politician to what we see today. He was abrasive, he was rude, he was arrogant, and he was really good at shutting down any opposition because he could rattle anyone's bucket. He used to make John Howard go, nothing had come out. Typical arrogant pig farmer. Right. I was only a lad. I was an apprentice panel beater at the time.
Give us again your read here.
Well, I think, again, in terms of great power competition in East and North Asia, this is now President Xi and the PRC itself asserting its dominance as it relates to the western parts of the Pacific Ocean, and China is really focused on Taiwan as bringing as a catalyst the reordering of global power in that part of the world with them as its head. We saw the Justice Mission 25 exercise of about a month ago, which saw 28 ships, 130 aircraft effectively blockade Taiwan in international waters on.
What is Taiwan really about? It's not about microchips. Right. China's always been way advanced to America in technology. It just is. Look at their bloody electromagnetic bullet trains. They travel at hundreds of kilometres an hour. Like, they just float on a magnetic rail. Elon Musk's only just catching up with that shit, starting to get things to go through tunnels. China's been there for fucking years. It's about military strategy. They get Taiwan back, and I reckon you'll find Taiwan will capitulate. You got America trying to coax China out through the Arab nations. You're not going to fall for it. So what happens when China takes Taiwan and threatens Australia? America comes over and gets themselves bottlenecked. Whoop! And it's all over. What side of history are we going to be on? Because that bottleneck will be here. For our uranium, cobalt, iron ore, coal, petroleum basins, huge ones. What do you think? What do you think Marinus Link's all about? What do you think Bass Link's really all about? Have you ever seen the Spirit travel during the daytime through a certain area? More to the point, what do they avoid going past? I wouldn't mind betting they're already tapping the petroleum basin in the Bass Strait. It's huge. It goes all the way right up into the Great Australian Bight. From Flinders Island to the Great Australian Bight, way past King Island. The deepest part of it is where Marinus Link is going. The densest part of the petroleum basin. Is my picture forming in your head yet? The one that takes up my entire lounge room? My picture's three-dimensional. It's not trying to be a smart ass, it's a fucking curse.
As Eastern approaches, we've seen a reordering of command and control in the PLA, which cements Xi as the Commander-in-Chief, both in name and in practice. And in that unified command structure, it obviously reduces the time from him making a decision to action, which could be an indicator and warning around preparations for military action in that part of the world.
I'm just about out of time, Ian, but I don't want to leave you without getting a quick comment, if I can, please. And those comments from President Trump today, he talked about his beautiful armada, ships on their way to Iran, and obviously what we've seen there in the last month or so. Where is this headed?
To Australia.
Well, the US have three reasons, I think, to build pressure and potentially provide a military response as it relates to Iran's refusal to abandon its nuclear program, its persecution and the atrocities committed in the past 3 weeks, and also its continued...
There's been absolutely zero Iranian support. There's been absolutely zero Iranian support in visual optics. There's no Iranian military visibility, no police visibility, no political visibility whatsoever. It's just a bunch of ragtags running around in Iran. It's Mossad. It's Israel. It's always been Israel. Israel was captured by Rome. That's not Israel, that's Canaan. And then it was taken by the United Nations all the way down through the Gaza Strip to create an apartheid in the Arab nations. United Nations and the Arab nations aren't united whatsoever at all. How dare they go into the Arab nations and just take that land? And no one retaliated. So who? Think about it. No one retaliated. They let them have it. They tried to live with them. They tried to make it work. It didn't work. Who were the protagonists here? We're on the wrong side of history. Like it or not. Our government has dragged us onto the wrong side of history. Not us as people. We've just been hoodwinked. Look at this fucking idiot. Look at this. Look at that. It's their own space. I don't care as long as you're not Learising around. You just went up the road quietly and back. I don't care. I don't care. As long as you're not bothering or hurting anyone. I think that's funny. This is what I mean about we need to learn at times to mind our own business. He's trying to build something. Let him build it. Hey, let him go. He's his dad. Here we go. Oh, don't go up the road. You. No, don't do it. No, it's all right. He's hiding his dad's car. Maybe his dad's done something silly and he's trying to hide him. That's my next door neighbour. That's all right. As long as they're not causing a ruckus, I don't care. Yeah. So you don't have to go around into the cops every 5 minutes unless they make their problem your problem. It's their problem. Someone needs to smack Karen up the ear hole.
Antagonism towards Israel, which is obviously a US ally in the region. So the proposition, I think, is sound from a national interest perspective. The real question is the what for and what next as it relates to what the US do and obviously what the Iranians choose to respond with.
Yeah, it's febrile. I'll leave it there. Ian Lang, thank.
Iran doesn't have nuclear capabilities militarily, okay? They've been saying this for 20 years now. 20 years. For 20 years they've been playing that Iran's going to drop a bomb. We've had threats that they're going to drop a bomb. They're going to send a nuclear missile to Israel. It hasn't happened. Has not happened yet. When we're watching the Iron Dome in action, we don't know where the rockets are coming from. They could be coming from Israel to Israel. How many times you poke the bear before it bites you? Speaking of the bear, where would Iran get any nuclear capabilities from? Let's think now. Pakistan, China, Korea, Russia. There's 4 military superpowers. How many war fronts can America take on? Not that. I'm telling you now. Still think I'm bonkers? You're crazy if you don't take notice. I'm not crazy. All this petty bullshit. Oh, he had a pint of crack in his pocket. Gives a fuck. I wouldn't submit to my unlawful demands, you know. Give me a lawful order, and I'll happily abide by it. But I don't submit to anyone. Dogs submit. Know what a dog does when he submits? He lays on his side, cocks his leg in the air and pisses himself. That's what submission looks like. I submit to no one.